Microsoft from time to time does some things that are actually pretty cool. And this is probably one of them. Obviously, the Xbox Series X and S haven't exactly set the world on fire. Again, I thought if they had just done a few things differently, I think Xbox could be in a much better spot. Obviously, we went through a period of time where a lot of people were inside their houses due to lockdowns and the pandemic and things like that. So now when you kind of look at this and you go, well, what could they have done differently? Well, we know for a fact, thanks to the FTC trial, that Phil Spencer initiated a lot of Xbox Series stock to go towards the blades for cloud gaming, right? They could have sold millions of more consoles when they weren't out, right? Like everybody's looking for an Xbox Series X or a PS5 and they couldn't find any. Microsoft was wasting millions of these consoles to be part of cloud gaming, which didn't pick up at all. So, realistically, whatever it's at, say 23, 24 million units sold, they could have easily been 30 million or more if, they had kind of handled things differently. Plus, we hadn't really seen games that draw, people to a new platform. Like, I'm looking at it myself and I think there's very little that's like a must-have game for this generation only. So this is very interesting that this has happened like this, but I can understand why, and it's super interesting. So College Football 25, believe it or not, seemingly leads to a huge spike in Xbox console sales. It's pretty incredible, and you know what? It's not such a strange thing, and the reason why it's not so strange is because at the end of the day, this game disappeared for over a decade. I mean, if you wanted to buy college football, NCAA football 14, that was over $100 to buy that on the 360, believe it or not. So I believe this, and also, I have friends who basically only played this game. They lived on this game, and the funny thing is, they thought that they could just buy the game for their 360 or their Xbox One, and you can't. You can only get this game on a Series X, a Series S, and a PS5. And even though the Series S is the console that a lot of people make fun of, guess what? It's the cheapest point of entry for this game. This could also be the situation we see for Grand Theft Auto 6. Yes, I understand that Grand Theft Auto 6, a lot of people are going to want to buy a PS5 Pro to experience it the best way that they can. But I believe there's also going to be a huge uptick of people picking up a Series S from previous gen consoles just because it's going to be a good place to play it. So it hasn't even been a couple of days since EA Sports College Football arrived on the Series X and S as part of its deluxe edition and free Game Pass Ultimate trial, and it's already proven extremely popular. In fact, it's been so popular that some reports are suggesting that it's led to a huge spike in Xbox console sales, specifically for the Xbox Series S. Here's what Inside Gaming's Michael Straw had to say about it. Just how big is College Football 25? I've been given some numbers to suggest that the last 24 hours have seen the highest number of Series S consoles sold since around the console's launch. Wow, think about that for a second. Everybody was hungry for a new console. We're getting locked down. All this kind of stuff is happening. People are looking for a console, and the Series S was the one that was most available. So, yeah. Obviously, we get no concrete facts, but I've seen multiple reports that it's actually there. Do we know that College Football 25 has come close to 1 million concurrent players already, and the full release doesn't even take place until Friday. So yeah, we still haven't even seen the full release of this game. People have been waiting for it for a long time. Again, this is one of those games that can push things. Like, this is what happens when you have, a console that, and a game that can push console sales. So here's the thing, right? Like, I get it, you have millions of last gen or whatever that you're trying to support or what have you, but at the same time, you're trying to get people to adopt your new brand and things like that, and when they aren't, it's a real shame when that happens. So I honestly hope that people kind of understand what's going on there, and I like seeing the fact that Microsoft is making sure that everybody kind of has something to kind of play, and this is a point in time where having a console that realistically is cheaper really kind of pays off, because believe it or not, and like I said, I know at least one friend who hasn't really played much of the new stuff, still played on, has a 360 and would play like FIFA and NCAA 14. now they had to buy a Series S. I think that's probably something that's really cool. So imagine if more games had kind of pushed people. I get it that Microsoft really likes, the people, and Sony, to their credit too. If you're playing Fortnite on a PS4, they don't care. If you're playing Roblox on a Xbox One, that Microsoft doesn't care. Like, that's more power to them. If you're playing Apex on a Xbox One, who cares, right? Like, Microsoft makes money from that, so that's something that people kind of have to keep in mind with this. But seeing that they are kind of picking up after all this time, I think that's a pretty cool thing, that people are kind of heavily investing into a a new Xbox. That's pretty damn cool in my opinion. So not only was that the other cool thing that Microsoft had done, but and this has people speculating. Microsoft releases a dynamic blades background to mark the Xbox 360 closure of the store itself. They updated the sales list. As you guys know, at the end of the month, the Xbox 360 store is closing forever, which is a bit of a bummer. They didn't really update it. They haven't updated it in a long time. It's a mess to get into, but they did put out some decent sales to close it out. Not all the games that I would have liked, but what can you do? At the end of the day, it's like you can't really do much. It kind of is what it is. But they also, everybody loves the Blades backgrounds. Remember the Blades from the Xbox 360 launch? Now they delivered its final update status on the 360 store prior to the closure of it on July 29th, and the update comes with a little surprise for Series X and S owners. The big news here is that the team has released a brand new dynamic background for Xbox Series X and S owners, and it features the classic 360 Blades theme that we all know and love. So hey, that's pretty cool. How many of us have been waiting for a final batch of 360 games to go on sale? I'm sure some of us have. I know some people that went out and repurchased a 360 to get some of these things, right? Because here's the thing. While there are a good number of backwards compatible games, a lot of these games are not backwards compatible. So it is nice to see that this is really, really happening, and that people are kind of going to be able to download the Blades. There's a lot of nostalgia there. Just in general, a lot of fun stuff to see there. So yeah, like I'm excited by that. Microsoft did do some did see some of the stuff to kind of happen, and we'll see how the future kind of works out for that. But like I said, Microsoft, they get a lot of blame for things that happen, but I also think that they should also get some of the positive reactions and things as well, because at the end of the day, they screw up their company just like any other, and it really does seem like they're trying here with at least some of this stuff. I wish that they would decide not to close the store, because I feel like the store is like losing a part of history and things like that. But there's nothing that really we can do with that at this particular point. Maybe Microsoft will stay at the last minute or something. But I kind of doubt it, just from the way that we've kind of seen how Microsoft operates at this particular point. They don't really seem to care too much about what people think. So again, even with the Series X and S, they don't really seem to care what people think. Whether I think they'll probably continue to put their exclusives on other platforms as well, and there's not really much we can do about it. So I hope that at the end of the day we can continue to get great games from them, and they do the good things for gamers. But again, I'm not really holding my breath when it comes to Microsoft. These corporations really don't care about people. So keep that in mind as we continue to go forward, and maybe something will change down the line or down the road. But for me, I don't see that happening. And it is nice to see that we get like some nostalgia with the Blade stuff, and obviously with this college football game. And it's so funny to me, because it's like, just imagine if you could only get Call of Duty and Madden and college football and 2K and all these games on the new stuff, within that first year. I'm not saying drop it like the year that they come out, but give people a year to upgrade, and they will. I just feel like the fact that so many people didn't upgrade, that there wasn't enough to make people upgrade, really kind of hampered what we got, and hampered the originality and things like that. So hopefully we see something happen before too long where we can get make it worthwhile for people to actually upgrade, because I still think we could still see that big influx of upgrades, sort of like what happened with the Xbox 360. If you believe it there, the 360 didn't really start hitting heavy until, year 3.5, 4, somewhere along those, and then another big influx when the original Kinect dropped. I know that sounds lame, but yeah, they went on some kind of tangent where they won something like 38 or 48 consecutive NPDs or something. So, it can happen, but I just think it takes like those things that make people want to be able to go out there and actually buy these games and the consoles for them. So, anyway, did you guys pick up the game? Let me know. Rack them up. We'll catch you next time. Crap Gamer out.